Iggy, let me start with you. You're always a calming voice of reason. Reason for people to be concerned. Was this inevitable? Did everyone get a bit too excited and we've got to temper expectations, or are we going to bounce back now with 3 or 4 wins in a row?
No, look, for me, I've said it from the beginning of the season. For as long as we've got the 11, 12 players that we all know that are fit, I'd be happy to go against anybody in the league. Anybody, home and away. I'm convinced that our 11 or 12 fit players will manage it. Unfortunately, I did also say that the moment we have 1 or 2, 3 players, for whatever reason, maybe a dip in form or injuries or suspension, we'll come unstuck because then we'll be pretty much the same as last season. And if you notice against the Wolves, we were like last season. We had, other than the goalkeeper, our new signs were all out. So we was back to where we began. Chelsea, listen, I felt we would have beaten Chelsea. I thought we started off really well, and then obviously everything just happened, and everything that could have happened against us went against us, as in the injuries, sending offs, etc. But up until that point, I thought we would have dealt with them at home. We was ready for them. Wolves is a tough one, man, because it's like we had to make calls that we didn't want to make. We had to bring players back that we didn't want to see. So it's a tough one. And it was only like, a few minutes away. And our terrible game management made that we allowed them back, not only to come back, but to win it. So look, we started off well. I can see why fans, man, they're excited with the way we were playing, excited with the results that we were getting in. Probably like 10 in a row or however many we won. Wasn't expected by any of us, if we have to be honest. So maybe we started dreaming. We started heightening our expectations. Obviously, the last 2 games have knocked us back to, and it just reminded us just how vulnerable we are for the moment we get a few week suspensions and injuries. So, and here we are. But we have been, I have to say as well, to balance it, we have been really unlucky with some of the, the sending off can happen. But to lose Maddison and Van der Ven for as long as we have, and it's not like a niggle in 1 week or 2 weeks. Literally, see you later. We'll see you in the new year. That's unfortunate. But Sava, we said we needed an extra centre back. We said all of these things, and now we're there now.
Yeah. Well, listen, look, absolutely. Listen, I can't disagree with anything you said there, Iggy. Normally, I like to go, hang on, but I can't disagree with any. No, I can't disagree with any of it. I can't. Jordan, let me bring you in here. Look, I told you so is a very easy in life, let alone in football, right? But Iggy's right. I think most fans that were trying to keep their feet on the floor did say in the summer that, listen, not buying a centre-half other than Mickey van der Ven, it's going to bite us. And for ages, people were going, stop willing our players on to get injured. And, it feels like the inevitable has happened. Is it poor planning or are we unlucky? Or is it a bit of a mixture of both, Jordan?
You're right, and Iggy is right. But it depends how you look at it. I think it's indicative of where we are in a process and a project and all that kind of stuff with new managers getting rid of Harry Kane and getting rid of Harry Kane getting rid of us, right? But new players coming in. I think we looked at the first game of the season. It was a brand new back five bar Romero, I think it was, or back 4. But I think it's indicative of that. But it's poor planning in the sense of we know what we needed. We identified that we needed more than one first team centre half to come in before the start of the season. But what did we expect? I think is the question, right? And I think it's actually not a negative, but going the first 9 or 10 games unbeaten, I think, and then losing those 2 games, you sort of whipped up this hysteria for the first 9 or 10 games where everyone then thinks we could potentially win the league and all that kind of stuff. And then things do come unraveled against Chelsea. But I think you would have been better off and you would have had less of a reaction to go, all right, the squad is horrific and we terrible plan and all this kind of stuff if those results had been sprinkled into the first 10 games and we'd have maybe lost the second or third game and then the 8th, but we'd have won the rest. Do you know what I mean? So I think you're right. I think it is poor planning. I think there's elements where we can look at the board, the transfer strategy, places we didn't actually go out and do what we needed to do. But actually, when you look at the whole of where we are, we're ahead of where we should have been.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's a really good point. I've not really thought about it in that light before, Alan. Had it have not been 10 games without losing and then all of a sudden 2 at once, if that had been, we played 12, but we lost after the first 3 or 4 games, then we lost after our 8th game, we'd all be going, okay, this is okay, this is fine. Is it because it was 2 back-to-back? One was against Chelsea, who, let's be fair, I feel like we've kind of kick-started Chelsea into scoring goals for fun. 4 against us, 4 against Man City. And then it's against a Wolves team that, again, another team that struggled to score goals, Alan. But is that what's making it worse? It was 2 on the bounce?
It is. I mean, what's making it worse is that we're a victim of our own success at the start of the season. So going 10 unbeaten, I mean, if you would have asked Spurs fans, well, most Spurs fans said before the start of the season, we'll take top 6, we'll see how we go, learning season, this and that. Because we won 10, or we were 10 unbeaten at the start, that's what made everyone start going, that's where all the crazy talk, we could win the league, invincible. And I was on my channel and others going, well, no, relax, calm down, as well as others were. It was because of that why fans got ahead of themselves. It was the 2 back-to-back. I think what's happened is that because we lost to Chelsea, or obviously it was a really bad showing, because we've done so well in the first 10 games, everyone's expecting that's the caliber, that's the level we're going to be at, regardless of who we got in. We should be beating Wolves because of what we've done in the previous 10 games. The Chelsea game was an anomaly. But to be fair, it wasn't, because with these type of players, which we've seen under every manager, it doesn't matter whether it's defensive manager in Conte and Mourinho or whether it's an attacking manager in Postecoglou, some of these backup players that come into this team are not good enough, and it's time for sentiment to go out the window, get rid, and we rebuild. We should have got more in the summer in regards to another centre-back, maybe another winger, because obviously we're short in them departments. We all discussed this numerous times on all different channels. But we dragged our feet. We got one signing, a quality signing in defence. But where we could have done where we could have done business quicker and sooner, we probably could have got a second defender in, and then we wouldn't have to rely on a Dyer, or maybe when we come back, throw in a Phillips that's going to come out of that's going to be a test in itself. But that's because we should have done that. But I think because we've been so long since Poch, fans have just let their imagination run away with them. And obviously, it's 2 games back to back. I agree with what Vaughan said. If it had been after 3 games and then after 11 games, something like that, then fans would be like, all right, we're doing well. But yeah, it's 2 back to back after such a good start. And to be fair, we're going to get into it on this show. It could even be 3 or 4 or 5 games.
Well, funny you should say that, because my segue to Iggy was going to be, it is only 2 games, Iggy, but that could very, very quickly, and at the risk of sounding negative, actually, it doesn't matter. I could say everyone have £1 million and they still call me negative, so I might as well just go with it. Iggy, it could so easily be 3 or 4. We've got Villa and Man City coming up in the next 10 in the next 10 days, right? So we play Villa and then and these 2 games now, 2 teams that both score a lot of goals against this back 4. Will it be a disaster if that does happen, Iggy? If we get to lost to Chelsea, lost to Wolves, lost to Villa, lost to City, is that then disaster?
Listen, I don't think we're going to lose both of those games. I'll be honest with you, I don't think we will. Man City away is going to be tough. Needless to say, I think it's going to be tough to go there for any club, let alone us. But I think at home, I do fancy, even with this team that we got right now, I still think we got something about us at home. The Chelsea, listen, the frustrating things, like you said, if we had lost one at the beginning and one there, it wouldn't be so bad, no. But the more frustrating thing is like when Ange has had his 11, 12 players that was on about, I was happy. We would all have been happy keeping them fit. And like I said, it hasn't happened that we've lost those games with those 11. We've always lost games when we've either changed the whole team against Fulham in a cup and went out. Within the Chelsea game, we know how it went, and the Wolves game, we played who we played, and we just, like I said, it was like last season's team. It had so many. It was literally like watching a game from last season, the way we played and the way we just managed the whole thing. But to answer your question, look, I don't know if what the next 2 games. Listen, there's a tough run of fixtures. There's definitely that we can say. And it's just a shame that, because also I have to say this before I forget, we as fans, and I include myself, and perhaps maybe we could all include ourselves in this. We have no balance. We're either like up there or we're down here. Like there's no like, there's no middle ground. Like we tried to say, do you know what? You know, it's at the end of the day, yeah, it's 2 defeats, but you got to look at it how they've come. Both the defeat against Chelsea cannot be put side to side with the defeat against Wolves. It wasn't like it was 2 different types of defeats how they came about. One we know how it went. It went like, and the Wolves one was just there was 2 different types of defeats. So it wasn't like we were just playing badly.
If that turns into 4, Iggy, does it matter what type of defeats
we'll probably end up saying get Ange out. Like, you know, that's the levels that we're competing with. We'll probably be shouting out them. And this is what I don't want. Like listen, I questioned a couple of decisions that were made against Wolves. I have no problem saying I questioned the manager for a couple of choices, not the choices that he didn't have, but the choices that he actually had options to make and he didn't. That's what I questioned. But I think I'm in the right to question that, but not go as far as saying me questioning that doesn't mean I want him out or all of a sudden I'm unhappy with him or anything. You know, I think it's within one's right to say, why didn't Lo Celso play
Spurs
when Maddison wasn't available? Why didn't Lo Celso get picked? And at the back, well, some may say I said we should have started Phillips, and I said this before the game even started. But as soon as I saw Dyer's face it just got flashbacks, and I thought, well, and I got counter argued by that, saying, well, it would have been easier to put Phillips in alongside someone like Van der Ven next to him or Romero to say, look, he goes, why are you going to go and put him with the dogs? Not with the dogs. Maybe that's not the way.
Yeah, I hear you.
You're putting him in like with Dyer, and all of a sudden he gets heat, and you shouldn't do that to a youngster. So I kind of get both sides of the argument to that as well. But we have to do something against Aston Villa. Surely we cannot feel the same team.